So it's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the head of GBM Sports, Izzy Asif, for a review of 2024. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good mate, good. Bit windy here in Sheffield, but we're all right.
Are we classing this as the best year of your career? Because obviously you were a boxer before, you were a manager, promoter, and so on. But this has been a huge year for GBM. Personally, is it your best year?
Yeah. It's funny you asked that because I was looking back at it and thinking, when did I actually box amateur? I made my amateur debut 21 years ago, nearly.
Oh.
So 21 years involved in the sport as an amateur pro, as a coach, as a manager. And yeah, I'd definitely say this is the biggest year in this sport in boxing for me, and the kind of most development we've done in any 12 months in one go.
Now, from what BoxRec tells me, you've had 9 shows this year, 7 under the GBM Sports banner. Um, Not just the output, though, the quality of fights have been great on the whole.
Yeah.
Got the deal with DAZN, which we'll talk about as well. When people are talking about the journey of GBM Sports in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, how would they describe 2024? What has GBM done in that 12 months?
It's a year that we really kind of stamped our authority or our position in British boxing. You know, we really made a mark, and there's been a few factors in that, a few important factors. The collaboration with Talksport was massive to start the year. And, you know, your Eddie and your Spencer, played a big part of that and give us great exposure and platform. Having Adam Smith, the voice of boxing, was a smart move as well at the time, and there was people in our team who were kind of thinking, "Oh, has Adam passed it? You know, he's been through illness." But I felt like Adam was going to be the right person for us, and that final piece of jigsaw that we're missing, and he was a massive part. And then obviously getting the DAZN deal were massive. So I'd say them three things have been an instrumental factor in the growth of GBM in the last 12 months. But yeah, it's been a brilliant year. But you know, we celebrate a little bit, but then we go again to a massive 2025.
Now, it sounds like you had to convince some people in your team regarding Adam coming on board. How did you convince Adam himself to come on board? Because he's someone who's used to working on Sky
Yeah.
Sports, DAZN now as well, of course. GBM to him may have looked like a small-time
Yeah.
operation back then. How did
Yeah.
you convince him of your ambition?
So I met Adam at Johnny Nelson's celebration for his book launch in Sheffield at an event, and I just said, Adam, good to see you. You know, you're back in action. And I told him about GBM. He goes, yeah, I've heard of you guys. And I said to him, just come to our event. I knew, Danny, just to get somebody to our event, it's all good me telling you how good GBM, how good our shows. When you're actually there and you see the presence, the energy, the atmosphere, the kind of logistics of the show, you realise we're the real deal. We put a proper show on. And he went and he was impressed, he was happy, and I kind of let him. He won himself over himself. I didn't really force upon him because he's a smart man. He's been around boxing a lot, and I loved his energy as well. And he like wanted it, and he seen the vision and the hunger and the drive and the future. And he was like, "Look, I want to be part of this." And we were like, "Let's go." And obviously there were people in my team saying, "Oh, is it the right move?" But you know, he had his best days? But look, he's the best voice of boxing. I don't think there's a better commentator in British boxing or the world boxing than him. You know, and he's been a massive part of the experience that he's got in Sky Sports and being around, which I do like because obviously I've only been in this game as a promoter for the last few years. He's been a massive part of our success and all this year.
And as well as being a great commentator, is there an element that people look at a GBM Sports show, hear his voice, and think, well, this must be a big-time operation if Adam
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah, absolutely. Listen, like everybody knew about us, but as soon as like we signed Adam Smith, I spoke to Carl Froch, and there's so many people got to know about me as well and us and realize how serious it's a statement, isn't it? You don't sign the voice of boxing as a director, a broadcaster, if you're not serious about this sport. And we kind of made that statement with Adam Smith. And he's more than just a voice. He's been around a lot of situations. He's worked really close with Eddie Hearns, your Warrens, your Wassermans. He understands the politics of boxing, the good and the bad side of this sport. And he's always there kind of guiding me, saying, Izzy, I don't think you should do this. I think this fight sells well. And yeah, he's a big part of the team. He's not just a commentator. We talk a lot. You know, we're a close-knit family team, and Adam's a big part of it. And he's a big part of the success and all. And I say it all the time. And he strategically put us in the right people commercially. And yeah, it was a smart move at the time, and I'm glad we made it. And it's really paid off as well.
And you mentioned he's worked with the Hearns and the Warrens. You're starting to do that as well now, of course. There was
Yeah,
the weigh-in
yeah.
at the show for their show the next night when you were on the same weekend in Sheffield. How did that come about, that collaboration?
Well, I'm good friends with Matty Lawless. I speak to Matthew, who's a good friend of mine, and then it was just like a conversation led, look, can we do something together? We're there at the same weekend. And I was like, let's go. Because look, boxing dynamics have changed anyway. Promoters are working together. And we're the fact we were on the same broadcaster, DAZN, and they encouraged it and all. They encourage it all the time. They want me to have that good collaboration with your Eddies, and now you're going to be Warrens. And it come about, and they said, look, can we do this? I think it works. I thought, why not? You know, these are the boys who've been around a long time. We're the almost newcomers in the game, and we're on the same platform. And it's good for collaboration, good for numbers, good for kind of but ethics as well and future work. So I thought, let's do it. You know, happened. They did a weigh-in, and we took a post to our show. Eddie come to the show and spent 2 or 3 hours there. We just didn't come in and pop eye. We could have. He come and spend some good time there, and I think it's only strengthened our relationship between Matchroom and GBM. And being on the same platform makes a lot of sense.
Did you have much of a talk with Eddie when he was at the show?
Yeah, we did. We had a good chat. You know, he's. I was saying this to somebody on the phone this morning. You know, there's something about boxing promoters. Like there's certain things only I can relate to another promoter. You know, the struggles and the stresses, and as much as you know boxing, there's certain things what you go through as a promoter you'll never really understand unless you're at the helm of it, you're at the lead of it as a promoter. And we spoke about some of the struggles, and I told him, and I was just honest with him. You know, there's no reason to like not tell him exactly what it was. I tell him what we were investing in the shows. I told him what the struggles I had, and it's not all been hunky dory. And he understood that, and you know the kind of obstacles I've had since trying to develop my brand, and he related to everything, and he understood it because obviously, look, he's been around this for a long time. He knows. He's been at he's been at the peak of the sport, or the top end of the sport, putting the biggest fights on in the world. So he understands everything about this game. And yeah, it was good. And we spoke a bit about cricket. I didn't know he's a keen cricketer because cricket's my first love as well, Danny. I played at a decent standard. And we just spoke about a few of them things. And it was good, yeah. Just nice to have him there. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot more collaboration in 2025 with GBM and Matchroom.
Did he have any key words of advice? Like you said, he's been there and done it. I mean about the boxing, not cricket so much.
Yeah, well, you couldn't teach me about cricket, don't you? About that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, at least he just kept saying, keep grinding, keep pushing, and you'll get there. He said, look, you're putting great shows on. There's, you know, he was saying it was packed out. He goes, your production is good as ours. That's what he's saying, and he was honest, you know. And you know, when you get to levels he has in his life and what he's achieved, whether it's financially or in the world of boxing, you're only there to encourage people and other promoters. And he's obviously content with himself for him to come there and encourage me and tell him how good we are, which I think is a testament to him and his dad, how he's kind of gone about his business. And he just kept saying, grinding, keep grinding, you're going the right way. And we spoke about 1 or 2 fights that potentially could still happen between the fighters. And I think that's going to happen. And it makes sense because, like, ultimately, we're getting paid by the same broadcasters. We are under DAZN. We're under that DAZN, which I believe is a home of boxing now and future of combat sport, home of combat sport, and and I think you're going to see a close collaboration. And yeah, we're good to have him there and good to have the Matchroom boys. And I think, but like I said, boxing changed. You see what's happening with Saudi and the Riyadh season where promoters are working together. Would you ever dream of that a few years ago? That Eddie, Frank, and Ben will be on the stage together, collaborating and pushing the same show across broadcast, cross networks. It's happening, and listen, we'll be part of the party as well.
And you being part of the party, got that platform on DAZN. Not too long after that, Frank Warren decided to jump ship as well. Maybe he was inspired by GBM. I'm not sure. How did the DAZN deal come about?
Well, it was introduced. One of the leading figures had turned up to one of our shows. We didn't get no notice or nothing. They just come. They heard about the stuff we do. We were making the right noises, and I'll be honest with you, they were overwhelmed. They were like, "Wow, this is a real deal." Because, like I keep saying, it's all good me telling you how good we are, but when you actually come to one of our events and see how much kind of details we go into and the kind of perfection we put in and the kind of effort we put into making good fights and good hard fights for our fighters, he was just kind of like impressed, really impressed. And he goes, look, let's have a little go at this. Let's see if we can work together on it. And yeah, a little bit of negotiation, making sure we did the right thing, and it just happened. And it's been the best thing that's happened to us. You know, being collaborating with DAZN, it's been massive for us commercially as a brand, as a growth of our brand. And yeah, it's been a smart move and a good move for us as well.
And now, before we leave off, the 2 toughest questions, perhaps. 7 big shows over the course of 2024. What's been the best or most memorable fight?
Best or memorable fight? Good question. See, it feels like it's been 5 years within 1 year. It's been that hectic for us. So he said to me, I go, February seems like 5 years ago. So I'm going to think back. Look, the big fight for me, obviously, the biggest kind of show that I enjoyed the most was the one when Shaquille Thompson fought River Wilson Ben and Tyson Gallagher fought. So that last show in October for me just had so many good fights. Max Hughes on Huey Fury. That kind of stands out there for me as a standout kind of show for me this year where I've enjoyed.
There
Yeah,
we
I'm
go.
back.
So you're just telling me about the show with River Wilson Bent against Shaquille Thompson, and
Yeah,
Tyson Gallagher was on there, Maxie
yeah.
Hughes, Hughie Fury.
I enjoyed that. That was a lot of rivalry there, and I love going into fan mode, Danny. I want to promote the shows, but I want to enjoy the shows. I had a lot of back and forth. You had Reese Mould and Ryan Walsh that were back and forth, a lot of rivalry. Even though Reese lost, got stopped in the round, it was just that show I enjoyed the most. And the one kind of for me, what were really personal and really kind of had a lot of satisfaction was York Hall, the show we did at York Hall. And that being going to the home of boxing, going to the capital, it's not a common thing for a promoter based up north to go down into the capital. And I can honestly say, and I put my neck on the line. I said we do York Hall like York Hall's never been done before. And we did. We made a statement. We made a serious statement. And that really sticks out me for the year. That was something like look back and think, wow, as a team we went there, we delivered, in a venue that's been iconic for British boxing. We went there and we put an unbelievable production on, something like never been seen before, and some good fights on the night as well.
And if you can, pick out 3, no more than 3 GBM fighters that we should be keeping our eye on in 2025.
Just 3. You're gonna make me
Just
fall
3.
out with the rest of them. Is that what it
Because
is,
otherwise
Danny?
you'll
Yeah?
just list all of them.
Yeah, all right, let's go 3. Listen, I'm going to go with top of the pops. I'm going to go with Shaquille Thompson, who I believe is one of the best middleweights in the world. The most feared kind of prospects in the country. Can fight on the outside. He can punch. He's awkward. He's 6'3" for a middleweight, undefeated in 13 fights, 9 stoppages. Ranked number 5, 4 or 5 in the country. I believe he's a future world champion. But listen, he's got some tough fights and tests as well. He's won. This one I like, even though he's a novice in the game. I just think he's one of the most exciting, potentially the most exciting prospect in the country. Is Taz Nadeem. Taz the Butcher. He's had absolute monster. He's going to get down to super middle. He's at super middle. He wants to potentially get to middleweight, which I think he's going to struggle. But he's one that I'm looking forward to. I think this year. And what I like about Taz, he's ready to go into the deep end. He don't care about where I put him in, and we'll move him on quickly. He's another one that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm going to go with one of the prospects. Obviously, there's a lot of, it's hard because I've got a lot of good fighters. One of the fighters I'm looking forward to, I think, could be a real star in the future. I'm going to go for 2. Sorry, I know you said 3. I'm going to go for 2 here. I'm going to go for Tyson Gallagher and Ed Hardy. Both of them two. Tyson, I think, could be potentially our first world champion. She's ranked number 3 in the WBO, British and Commonwealth champion at super bantamweight. I reckon she's going to potentially be a world champion for us this year. And Ed Hardy, the farmer, the boxing farmer from Doncaster, he's 2-0 at the moment. Great story. There's just something about the kid. He's got something in him that I think he could really push all the way. So them 4 names to watch
Yeah.
out for watch out 2025 who could be making some big noises for GBM.
Well, you wouldn't be the promoter you are if you didn't exceed the requested amount, I suppose. So.
Of course, bending the rules. It's in the rule book. It's in my rule book, isn't it? We do it as we want.
Brilliant. Mate, really appreciate it. The rise of GBM has been one of the big boxing stories of 2024. So I hope for your sake and all the fighters, it continues to grow in 2025.
Yeah,
And I'm sure we'll talk many times next year.
yeah, and I just appreciate the support this year for you guys. It's been immense because boxing could be a bit of a shut-off business, especially as a promoter that's unknown to a lot of people out there. So support from you guys and like constantly get me interviews on platform. It's been remarkable, and nothing goes unseen. I appreciate that, and just join it. Fasten your seatbelt because 2025 we're going for a ride.
Look forward to it. Brilliant, mate. Thank you very much. Have
Thank
a
you.
good Christmas and New Year.
And to you.
Take
God
care.
bless.